Hey, let's talk about the difference between a short sale and a foreclosure. So a lot of people just hear these terms thrown around a lot. They don't actually know, what the actual details are. The biggest thing is that a short sale means that person who has that mortgage is still living in the home. And the next biggest thing you need to know about a short sale is that that person, even though they are the homeowners of record, does not make all the decisions. The bank has a lot of decisions. On a foreclosure, it's going to be all up to the foreclosure lender, the bank, because they've already foreclosed the home. The people are out of the home and everything, and the home is usually empty and still. But the one thing on both of them is that they usually won't do any repairs. So if you're thinking about buying a short sale or foreclosure, before you jump in, these are the things you need to know. On a short sale, they usually have to have an initial contract before they can even request a short sale. They got to list the property. Then the next thing is to get a contract on the property. The lender, the buyers can sign, the sellers can sign the contract and execute the contract, but the lender, who their mortgage lender is, that they owe money to and they're behind on, does not actually have to accept those terms. If they accept those terms, then they're less than what the lender wants, then you could be responsible, or the seller could be responsible for bringing money to closing. And usually people don't want to do that. They're going to sell it for enough that pays the bank, what they need to close the file out. The other thing is, when you're negotiating selling closing costs and everything on a short sale, it's still up to the bank. The bank may be like, oh no, we're not the house appraiser for this. We don't feel comfortable taking a contract with a buyer needing that much in closing cost and everything. So those are the biggest thing on the short sale. Also, it's a longer process on the short sale. A lot of the short sales aren't approved. They got to be probated. They got to be approved by asset manager. You got to send in everything. The listing agent has to do a little work. The contract may expire, and you may need to get an updated contract. So if you're trying to move like in 30 days and the short sale is not approved, it's not a property that you want to put under contract if you have to be moving within a certain time period. If you're looking and you're stable in where you're staying now, a short sale may be a great thing for you because you are going to have equity in that property. Usually it may be a property that was selling for, the buyer bought for 450, but now they only owe 300 on it, but they have some circumstance where they can't keep the home or they need to sell it, and you may get it for $320,000 and jump in there with 800, $80,000 to $100,000 worth of equity. But you would have to be patient, and most likely, if the house needed any repairs, you'd have to do the repairs yourself, or get a renovation loan to purchase that property and do those repairs. On a foreclosure, same thing when it comes to repairs, but the bank is already owns the property, so the bank is going to be the person making all the decision. The bank is going to be the asset manager. The bank is going to be doing all the decisions and negotiating it, and they usually have those listed with an asset manager. So where you can find foreclosures, still good deals. Again, you got you'll probably have to go in there and you won't get a lot of closing cost assistance, and any repairs that need to be done, the bank is not going to do them unless it's just to secure the property, where somebody can't get into it or anything like that. So there's a catch with each one, but they're good deals if you can find them. You still have the HUD 100, the HUD $100 down FHA foreclosures. In some areas, there's not a lot left because a lot of the banks, because of the short sale process, a lot of people are selling their homes on the short sale so they don't have a foreclosure on their credit, or they can make some type of money or just get out of it without the foreclosure. So you have less foreclosures, listings out there. The other things that you want to look at is what most buyers don't realize. Again, these properties are as is. So if you're somebody who's like, I want to move into this house and I want it like a brand new house, you don't need to look at short sales or foreclosures. Even if the people are in the homes, they're most likely not in a financial state or the mood to want to do any repairs on a house that they're about to lose that they're just trying to get out of without screwing up their credit. So they're most likely not going to do any repairs. And if there's some repairs done that are required by your appraiser, then you're going to have to get them in escrow, hopefully, where they can hold in escrow if the bank agrees to doing that. Or you're going to have to do a renovation loan, which a lot of people do, or you may have to pay for them up front yourself, and pray that you close on that house. So those are things you want to be looking at. Not all short sales are distressed properties as far as like in repair, but they are distressed in the terms of that the people are distressed that are probably selling those properties, or they just want to get rid of them. So they're not going to do any of the extra stuff you might be looking and all that stuff. Most of the time, they're going to just tell you on the property disclosure, I've lived here. On a foreclosure home, you won't get a property disclosure because the bank has never lived there. So these are things that you got to look at. So you got to be in a good financial situation if you want to do it. And when I mean that, you're going to have good credit and everything, get qualified for the loan. But you also want to be in a financial situation where if there's any repairs that you want or that may be required, that you're ready to do those repairs or get a renovation loan that would allow you to do those repairs with your mortgage loan and also secure the property. So if you're interested in getting pre-approved for a regular home or foreclosure home or short sale home, reach out to me, 404-461-3172, or apply at reggieloans.com. Bye.